busted radiator cap, or so it's believed to be at this time. You'll find out in a few minutes. I won't be able to find out until tomorrow. A couple days ago I noticed that this hose, once the engine cools down, goes under vacuum. You can see it's pinched flat. That's not normal. Once the engine comes up to temperature, it goes back to being round and flows coolant through it and everything is copacetic. But something is definitely wrong as it stands right now. So I called the auto shop that had done the work on this previously, and I described what was going on, and the mechanic said it was most likely a spoiled radiator cap. And he gave me a new one at no charge. This is a CarQuest branded radiator cap. It's made in Mexico, so it's probably of good quality. So we're going to go ahead and replace this now. Did that just release the vacuum? Yep, it did. Now, I don't know exactly how these work, but I know that they do allow some amount of air to pass through under certain circumstances, which would prevent that from happening. Here's a new cap. It looks a little different, but as far as I know, these are pretty much universal. Okay, the radiator cap is in place. And you'll find out in a few minutes, thanks to the magic of video editing, if this actually solves the problem or not. I will have to wait until tomorrow when I use the car and then let it cool off. Now, I don't know how long this has been like this. To give some context on this whole situation, I had a portion of the engine rebuilt, and in the process of doing that, when the engine was being reassembled, a hose clamp was not properly put in place on one of the hoses. It took several months, but eventually the hose worked itself off of the connection point, and all the coolant leaked out and it almost overheated. There's a whole separate video on that. So it was a simple mistake that someone made while doing the repairs. So I called that auto shop back, and the guy made good on it. That was handled correctly. And he took it back, flushed the system out, because I filled it with water just to get by for a couple of days. Filled it back up, everything was fine. All at no cost, of course. And it had been a couple of weeks since that transpired. Everything was operating normally, but I just wanted to take a look inside to see if everything seemed copacetic, check the fluid levels, etc. And I saw this. Now, normally I don't pay any attention to these hoses. You know, you check in here, you check in there, you check over there, but you don't look at the hoses normally. At least I've never heard of anybody doing that. And so this quite possibly could have been like this for years. I don't know. But I suspect it probably is a newer thing. Okay, I guess it's getting pretty windy out. Something must have blew under the deck and smacked the window. I don't know for certain though, because on one hand I would tend to believe it broke when the overheat situation transpired, because it's a thermal event, and thermal events can certainly damage components. But on the other hand, I remember when I was trying to refill the cooling system, I noticed that the level of coolant inside the the reservoir never seemed to change at all under any circumstance, which is also not correct. So I have a suspicion that maybe something was wrong with it prior to that event. I don't know. It doesn't really make any difference, but this is what it's doing now. Hopefully this cap is a simple fix to this problem. I'll use it tomorrow, and then I'll come back on the video once it's cooled off, and we'll check to see if the hose is in fact under vacuum or not. It's been 2 days since I've used the vehicle. The new cap is in place. The cooling system in the engine are at about 50 degrees, and the hose is round. It's not under vacuum. So that fixed it. It was just a bad radiator cap. This is the second time in the last month or so that we have avoided an expensive catastrophe with a failure of this vehicle. This thing is 2 miles away from 120,000. Hopefully it keeps going for a while without too much more trouble.